It's the Odd Drunk Podcast, a very strange podcast, the drunkest show in the world. It's Jackson and Colton talking out of their ass. We don't care as long as drinks are poured. Sometimes we have our friends here. We will talk about anything. We don't care as long as we have beer. And if you let that whiskey ring. The Odd Drunk Podcast
that we have before we start recording, and now we're recording. And this is Jackson speaking, by the way. Welcome to the Odd Drunk Pod. I was just talking about Helldivers, and it's maybe the greatest multiplayer game to come out since. I mean, honestly, me and Caleb were talking about this. We went through such a dark ages with multiplayer. I mean, yeah, Fortnite Battle Royales, like the good ones are good and whatever. I understand it.
Yeah,
But
I
aside
personally
from
don't
that,
play
everything else,
Battle Royale games, but
yeah. But everything else,
you
copying off of
gotta,
that, doing live service shit and doing battle passes and pay to play, pay to win, and just companies, COD just
yeah.
putting, Activision putting shit after shit,
Remember
every year with
the
COD.
good old days when a company squeezing you for money was just selling map packs that
Yeah.
should have been
And
included
that
in the
was
base
good
game.
content. That was
Yeah.
worth it.
The
Um,
original or the 2015 Star Wars Battlefront was just they were just selling you map packs that should have been in the base game.
should have been in the base game. Yeah.
And that was considered bad back then. But looking
Yeah.
back, that was actually a fun game.
You're paying just to have a gun that should have just been in the base game when you spent $70. But then Helldivers, $40 game, $50 game, something like that. And Double A Studio, like it's good to see Double A really coming in
Oh
and
yeah,
like
Double A
Helldivers
studios are
kicked
just getting a
ass.
lot of love right
It
now.
kicked COD's ass. It's like it's kind of that itch no one really knew we needed. It's scratching that
Yeah,
itch, like team-based, squad gameplay, just fighting hordes of enemies, and uh, no pun intended, it's a hell of a lot of fun. But we're not here to just talk about hell. Well, the first Helldivers was actually a top-down,
yeah,
single-player shooter, like squad shooter. Like I think it was like a just auto shooter.
yeah,
Um,
something like that.
so it's pretty cool that its sequel is a completely third person kind of Gears of War type of game. um and that's my segue into tonight's topic.
Yeah,
We are going to talk about the sequels that should have been, the sequels that should be.
hmm
A lot of times standalone properties are ruined, often ruined by their sequels, or it gets worse with every iteration. But there's uh,
There's-
things out there that have never been given a sequel that
they
maybe we
should
should
have. They should
have
have.
a crack at it.
There's a bunch of them.
Not saying, I will say some things should just be left sacred, and
Yeah,
if that means not ruining something, then I rather it be standalone. But we're here
yeah,
to just have fun and speculate, and let's just assume that whatever sequel we're talking about to whatever property we're talking about has, good writers that care, good production.
yeah.
Let's just assume it's the best version of what it could be. Um, I I don't want to propose shitty sequels, and we could talk about franchises that maybe shouldn't be franchises or should have just stayed a couple movies or to one
Yeah,
movie. Um,
and
there's a lot we could talk about there.
there's maybe there are some franchises that I think should be given a second chance, but that haven't been visited in a while and things like that too. But
Yeah,
mostly
not all of
just
this is going to be standalone one-off things, but
yeah. But
we're going to try to keep it that way.
mostly we're just winging it.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell
I didn't
already.
really prepare for
Honestly,
this.
I've come so, because we haven't done Morning Oddities in forever. I do want to bring that show back.
Yeah. I honestly
Because
I
we
spent
don't have to
about
prep for that. We can just.
I spent about 10 minutes on my lunch break looking up some games and movies
I
today.
was playing Helldivers and I just looked
Nice.
stuff up. But there's definitely movies and games that I've always wished for a sequel, and so that's what we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about. I have a couple lists here. I got one from IGN,
Nice.
and I've got one from uh Total Film Games Radar, but their film division.
I didn't know Games Radar had a film division.
Well, they do now.
Of
Oh, and BuzzFeed also has a list.
course.
That's
It's been a
wait,
while
how old
since
is this?
we've had BuzzFeed appear on the show.
Yeah, so Monsters Inc. I thought it did. Oh wait, that had a
Yeah.
prequel.
Monsters Inc. had a prequel. Well, it kind of
We
does
could
have a
also talk
sequel.
about
There
things
there
that
there
deserve
is
a prequel.
the TV show, Disney Plus, that I've not watched.
Oh, true. I guess that's kind of a sequel.
Yeah.
Um, we could also talk about things that deserve a prequel. Like you want to expand on the lore of something,
Yeah, I don't know. We're just
background. Um, so that's another layer to this.
but
Let's.
before we get into it though,
Oh yeah, of course.
I gotta ask, do the one segment that we still have. What are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking the same whiskey from the Logan commentary from last week's episode.
Nice.
Starward Gold Double Grain Australian whiskey. And it's made in matured in red wine barrels. Like I
Yeah.
said previously, it is a bit wine forward for a whiskey, which is a little off-putting, but also I like wine,
That could be
so
good
it
though.
kind of
Yeah.
works out. Uh, but that's all I have. I've
Oh,
been laying off beer, uh, like, and actually I gotta order more. I gotta get some more wine too. And next paycheck, I'm probably gonna showcase some Japanese whiskey on this podcast because I'm
nice.
really wanting to try it.
Nice. Yeah, I
But yeah, that's
there's
about it.
a couple bottles that I've been meaning to get my hands on recently, but I just keep putting it off. Um, I picked up some
Oh, and I'm drinking with orange juice. So.
oh nice. I did see that you had an orange drink there, yeah. I'm drinking I think I had it on the St. Patty's Day episode maybe.
Orange is the best
Uh
flavor.
Sullivan's Brewing Company out of Kilkenny, Ireland. This is their
I
Maltings
think I've
Irish
had them
ale.
before.
It's a red ale. It's pretty good. It's just a good beer. Mm.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was gonna get some Cutwater, um, like White Russians, but I decided I wanted to have more than one like drink, and those things are so
yeah,
alcoholic that I'm
it's
like
not White Russian season
I
anymore.
shouldn't
Yeah.
have just I shouldn't be drinking those. I feel like I'd get carried away very easily.
Um. Yeah.
These easier to control myself with the beer.
Anyways, let's get into this. It's probably gonna be a shorter one.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's okay.
unless we really bullshit our way. Some of these in the BuzzFeed list do have sequels, so it's a lie. I don't understand.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Um,
I have at least one that a sequel I know has been announced. But if you had asked me a few weeks ago before the sequel was
Beetlejuice?
announced, I would have included it on this list.
Oh,
So,
dude.
like,
Speaking of which, of announcements,
yeah.
I just saw Batman Arkham Shadow
Oh yeah.
drop on YouTube. I was so excited. I was like, holy shit, is this the Arkham game they've been working on that they shelved? And
Yeah. And
it's
then
finally coming out because they're gonna make amends because Suicide Squad was shit, and then it was a metaverse thing,
Meta,
and I
yeah.
immediately exited out. I didn't even want to see it.
I've been seeing memes on Reddit today
Pissed me off.
related to that of just people
Don't
getting
do that
really
to me.
excited and then
Yeah,
only on
dude, I saw that. I
MetaQuest
was like,
whatever.
I clicked immediately
Yeah.
because I was like, holy shit. And then I saw MetaQuest immediately. And then I saw a comment saying, oh, everyone's so excited.
I
Um,
since we're talking
wow.
about Batman games, I want to talk about real quick. This is a side tangent, not exactly related. I guess we can say it's related because this is a franchise I think they should give a second chance to. But
Man,
the
Sofia Vergara is hot.
oh yeah.
She popped up on my feed. Well, her little friend. Well, not little. Her friends popped up on my feed. We'll
Oh,
just keep it.
right.
We'll just leave
But the Middle Earth
it.
Shadow of whatever games, the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, the Nemesis
You think
system,
it should have a third go?
I think they should give it another chance because I think they're fun games. Shadow of War goofed on some stuff, but it's still fun. But mainly, I'm just bitter about how they've handled the Nemesis system.
It's only been in
It's
those
only
two
been in those
games.
games. I want more of it. And
Well,
recently there was some like leaks about before they were working on those games when they were developing the Nemesis system. It was originally supposed to be part of a Nolan verse Batman game that they were working on.
I heard about
And
that.
the idea would have been so like the Nemesis system, like the idea would have been that as you're fighting crime in Gotham, um, criminals would you would kind of create your own rogues gallery through the Nemesis
That's
system.
cool.
That would have been so fucking cool. And
Yeah.
I know they're apparently still working on that Wonder Woman game that they've said is
And
gonna
that's
have
supposed to
it,
have,
but
yeah.
we haven't heard anything about that in a while. They're
Watch
and
it be a live service thing.
yeah,
What
and I
just
have with their recent track record, I don't have a lot of hopes for them. But like imagine like Arkham Knight, but also with the Nemesis system.
right?
It
Yeah,
would
that would.
just so I yeah, slight tangent there
And
since
that's
you were mentioning
proprietary.
Batman
Only
games.
Warner Brothers or
Yeah, they
whatever
patent
developer they own, they
uh
patent it.
Warner Brothers patented it.
Um,
Yeah. It took
and
them a
they've
while to get
barely
it to
used
actually
it.
get it patent. They tried multiple
They
times and
used it in
failed
2 games,
to get the patent
and
accepted. But
but yeah, that was the best. One of the best things about Shadow of Mordor.
it is the
Um,
best thing. I mean,
I mean,
Shadow
it was Arkham Lord of the Rings. That's
yeah.
what it was. The
I mean, don't get me
combat,
wrong, like
everything,
Shadow of
stealth,
Mordor
everything.
and Shadow of War to an extent are fun. The combat's fine. It's fun. It's generic,
Easy.
but it's fun. Um, the story was okay. Arkham or not? Yeah, Arkham Lord of the Rings. Shadow of War goes a little wacky on the
Yeah, to
story.
say the least.
Um, they've messed it up with microtransactions at launch, and they've taken those out and tried to rebalance it, but it's still like a real grind
Like
late game.
gear, and it's a good
Um,
game.
but I mean, all that being said about like its flaws, I can still boot up Shadow of War because it's on like Game Pass, so you don't have to pay money to play it. Um, if you're subscribed. And I can boot that up and play for several hours just messing around with the Nemesis system because it does
Wait,
the
so
Nemesis
you
system
have
does
Windows on your Steam Deck? Like, how do you play Game Pass there?
no like when I had the Xbox I
On your
could yeah.
Xbox? Oh,
I
okay.
think I own that game on Steam. I think I bought it when it launched. I
Nice.
don't remember. It's been a while. Um, but like I could boot that game up and just play for hours just messing around with the Nemesis system because it does that much heavy lifting in those games. It's
Mhm.
that good.
It
The
creates
rest
its
of the
own.
games are mediocre, but the Nemesis system makes a mediocre game actually a decent game. And I'm
Well,
very
I wouldn't even
bitter.
go as far as saying it's a mediocre game. I'm just saying it's just kind of.
I think Shadow War is kind of mediocre. Shadow
Well, I remember
Mordor was a
more
lot
about Shadow of
tighter.
Mordor.
Yeah, Shadow of Mordor is a
It was
lot
more
tighter.
focused.
Well, yeah, that's a better game. Um, Shadow of War has a better like they refined the Nemesis system. But yeah. No, sorry. I'm just very bitter about that.
Um, well, one of my jumping off points for this topic, and it's in one of the lists. It, thank God it is IGN. But Bloodborne.
Oh yeah.
that game just kind of came out of nowhere from FromSoft. After before Dark Souls 3, but they were known for Dark Souls and Demon Souls, and then here comes this new IP with a similar formula. Uh, and like I've said before, and I will say again, Bloodborne is one of my favorite games of all time. Um, Amazing aesthetic. It's got all the classic like Miyazaki lore,
Yeah.
and it's in this gothic Victorian setting, and it
You
starts
know,
out like
just
werewolves.
just like the little bit of Bloodborne that I've played, even I can just recognize like it's time. I'm kind of
Yeah,
surprised
the
we haven't gotten a sequel for
combat's
that.
ama- yeah, the combat's amazing. The bosses are great. I mean, not all of them are well balanced, Ludwig, but it's a fantastic game front to back, even with all the frustration with some of those bosses. And it's crazy it hasn't got a sequel when FromSoft has made 3 Dark Souls games, and that's it. That's the only sequel. Well, aside from Armored Core, that's a different
Hmm.
conversation. But
Yeah.
aside from that, it's only been Dark Souls that's gotten sequels. Even Demon Souls doesn't have a sequel, which would maybe seem redundant when you already have Dark Souls.
Yeah,
But
Dark Souls kind of
Demon
acts as a
Souls
sequel, sort of.
spiritual sequel. I mean, Demon Souls is its own lore and everything, but the way it's set up, it is very much like a one-shot thing. But Bloodborne, I mean, with the DLC and like when you go, I forget what it's called, but when you go to the castle with like the vampire people and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and it starts out very just like Van Helsing, werewolves and stuff, but like Frankenstein, but then it goes very hard into Lovecraft, like elder gods and shit like
Yeah.
that, and squids and all kinds of crazy shit. You can even become one. You can become a little baby squid. God. Spoiler alert. But goes so hard in that, and the aesthetic's perfect. And the closest thing we have to a Bloodborne sequel right now is Liza P, which is a game I would highly recommend. Another
I've heard
double
it's
A
good. Yeah.
feature. Um, and it's basically Pinocchio Bloodborne. It's
Yeah.
got like a steampunk punk aesthetic. You're fighting puppets and stuff like that. Stuff from Pinocchio lore, and which is all public domain, so they could go crazy with it. Um, and it's a fantastic game. So that's the closest thing. But it just makes me think like Bloodborne, like there's so many different settings they could do this Lovecraft twist on. Like hell, even one of the ideas I told you was like Bloodborne, but like Revolutionary France.
Yeah.
Or imagine Bloodborne, but Old West, like
Ooh, that'd be
something
cool.
like that.
Yeah.
Uh, and because there's plenty of guns and like blunderbusses and shit in Bloodborne. It's like set in like 1890s ish, Victorian
What
ish.
if FromSoft comes out and announces a Bloodborne sequel, but it's like anime? Like they just
Just like
go
pure anime.
complete left field. It's nothing like Bloodborne, but they're just like, here you go, Bloodborne.
It's a show. It's a Bloodborne anime. Um, but yeah, I mean, imagine. I mean, yeah, there's so many avenues they could go. I mean, yeah, they could even just keep the same aesthetic and just explore more of that world. But they talk about like people coming in from the east and Bloodborne and stuff like that, and there's talk about different locations. It's way more than just Yarnum,
Yeah.
but a sequel would be great. Hell, I'll take a remake or remaster, a remake like in the like Demon Souls style remake. That would be fantastic. With Blue Isle Studios, they
A
do a great
PC
job.
port would be
Just a
pretty
PC
cool.
port, that would practically be a remake
Yeah,
in and itself.
just a PC port.
Um,
That's all we
I
need.
mean, you can emulate it if you want, and
Play that shit on the Steam Deck.
oh, that would be fantastic. If
Yeah.
FromSoft, yeah, if they announce Bloodborne, that would be topping the charts on Steam, and it would be run beautifully on the Steam Deck because
Oh yeah.
Sekiro runs beautifully. I can attest to that. I played that. And that's another one that could definitely use a sequel. I want to see more of that world.
I
And
I I
the
played a little
combat is
bit of
fantastic.
Sekiro when it came out. It's cool. It's a fun game.
It
It's
is
hard.
both.
It's really hard.
It is equally the most satisfying and difficult combat they put in a game
Yeah.
because it's the first game where you only have one weapon. You have your katana, and then you have your
Right.
shinobi gadgets or whatever they call it, the prosthetics. You have stuff like that and throwables, and like you learn. It's also a game where you have skill trees and kind of more tradition action RPG
Yeah.
stuff thrown in there. Um, but yeah, I would love to see a sequel to that. Thank God it is on Steam.
Yeah.
So you can play on PC, and I can play on my Steam Deck at 60 FPS. It's beautiful.
Ooh.
Uh, and Elden Ring, just go on sale. I will get Elden Ring the moment it goes on
I
sale,
I
but I
want
can't
to.
justify
Yeah,
buying
I
the
can't.
same game twice
That's $60.
because I have it on the PS. I
Man.
have the best version of it probably, unless you have a really good PC. But you know, but still, to play it portably would be fantastic. And also, Elden Ring is, well, it's basically getting a sequel if it's DLC. I mean, a lot of times FromSoft, they just do huge DLCs
Hmm.
that feel like another game. It
Yeah.
just, but that's still not a sequel. That's a
Yeah.
DLC. That's like Bloodborne 1.1, like Disney, when they released Lion King 2.5 or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that.
The
Uh,
straight to
or like
DVD.
Lion King 1.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, that's what it feels like. And to see a proper sequel, like on their new updated engine and everything, hell, and go back to the linear thing. I know they, you know, did fantastic with the Elden Ring open world, but I don't think that would work with Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Uh, that has to be narrow corridors and uh alleyways and verticality with the chapels and
Yeah.
all that kind of thing.
I mean, I'm
Um,
sure these days they could probably craft something that has some element of openness to it. But
Old West Bloodborne
well, I mean,
have
like
like big white. Imagine that, but
you
big
could
like
you
wide
could you
open
could
areas with
you could have
enemies.
it where it's like you could have it where it's like kind of
Hi
the
Roshi.
Uncharted 4 approach where you have large areas that are explorable, but it is still a linear game. You could do something like that
Well, it
with
already
it.
did that. I
Yeah.
mean, it feels Bloodborne, the way it's designed, and well, any of the Souls games, they kind of feel like open worlds, even though they're linear. There's just so many paths and layers
Yeah,
that it
I think
feels huge. They
like
do a great
even
job at
like Dark
that.
Souls 1
Their
kind of
level design is phenomenal.
yeah, Dark Souls 1 like even like doesn't feel linear, like super linear. It feels like
Yeah, it's
and it's just because it's like
because there's so many
the way
paths and
well there's so many paths but also the way they handle progression and the way they and it just also it doesn't tell you where to go. It just they just
yeah.
you just got to figure it
But
out. And
imagine
that
this.
goes a long way in making you like having a linear game where you can still get lost
Mhm.
goes a long way in making it feel more open,
Right.
you know.
But imagine this. Old West Bloodborne. There's a outbreak um just in some, I don't know, mining town, or I don't know,
Mm.
Old West town or area, and you're, let's just say you're just like a bounty hunter. And
Ooh,
like,
yeah.
let's think of gameplay elements. You could be like an American sect of hunters,
Right.
um, because the blood curse and all the elder gods. I mean, that extends way far beyond Yarnum. Yarnum just happens to be the focal point of Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Um, so imagine that. Like you have your 6 shooter, and like that could be your revolver, or that could be your like
I mean-
parry.
I mean,
in
obviously, it
range.
would be like a 6 shooter that like transforms into a sword or a dagger or
Well,
something
yeah,
like that. Obviously,
but
yeah,
it's still the Bloodborne universe. Yeah, the transforming weapons.
yeah.
Or imagine like a shotgun that like you know, like a pump action shotgun, like Red Dead Redemption. You know, this is
Yeah.
1890s. They
Yeah.
can do whatever. Pump action shotgun, but then like there's a switch where it like extends into like a shotgun staff. Like you could just
Oh
imagine the
yeah,
things they would do.
yeah,
Or a like you even get a blunderbuss bus and Undead Nightmare. Like they can fit that in.
yeah.
Uh because it's a similar time period. It's just a different setting, really.
Basically, you just
And
want Red Dead Redemption, but Bloodborne.
but Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. And and imagine the outfits, like how cool you can make your guy. I
Oh
know
yeah.
there's this game, Old West or Evil West,
Oh yeah.
which was like a throwback game to like
Yeah.
those hack
The,
and slash
yeah,
titles
those
of
like
like PS3 or Xbox 360
yeah,
era,
like the like
like God of
original God
War.
of War
Um,
or Devil May Cry type
yeah,
of
like
thing.
Devil May Cry, which I heard Devil May Cry 5. I passed it up. It was on sale for like $10. I should have
I've heard
got it.
it's a good
But
I've heard it's a good one. Yeah.
how's it
Um
going? Okay. Um, but but yeah, Bloodborne but Old West, that'd be sick. Bloodborne Vikings, just make I don't know.
yeah.
Or you know, Bloodborne set in the 1920s New England. Go all Lovecraft with it. Just
That'd
go
be
all
yeah,
in.
just yeah. just
Like imagine if they did their
just a
own.
Lovecraft game.
Imagine if FromSoft literally did like their own adaptation of Lovecraft.
I think they would knock it out of the
Like
park.
yeah.
Just
Um
yeah,
yeah.
that would be awesome. That'd be
Imagine
killer.
fighting near Lepitet
Yeah.
boss and like shit like Cthulhu, obviously. Um just make a From Software Lovecraft. I mean, they already have made a Lovecraft game,
Yeah, I
but
mean
go even
just go really hard. Just you fight some seabirds.
fight the fish, the deep ones, the
Yeah.
fishmen, stuff like that.
Just generally go mad.
Dagon.
Yeah.
Boss.
That'd be
Just do
awesome.
that. But yeah, a sequel to Bloodborne. That's one I would definitely love to see.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Uh
you want to go? Well, you want to go back to movies for a little bit? We've been on
sure.
games for a while. Unless you
Sure.
have.
Well, I mean, I
Okay.
guess one game that comes to mind that I don't know, I feel like it's kind of cheating because they did announce a sequel like last week.
What?
But Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is they announced
Really?
that. And it's just it's not that I think the original game is amazing. It's not for everyone. It's janky.
It went a
It's
little too
real.
simulation based,
Yeah, it's really
and
slow. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah,
um,
it's a
but
slog.
I think I really liked what they were trying to do with the game. And before they had announced the sequel, I would have said, I think it would be a shame for them now that they have more experience. They've learned from the first game. They have more money to fund the development. It would
Yeah.
be a shame for them to not get the chance to try to refine it and try to make a better game. And with the announcement of the sequel, that's how they are marketing, and that's how what the developers have kind of said about it is they're like, this what we're working on now is the game that we wish we could have made when we were making the
Right.
original one.
They just didn't have the budget,
Um,
etc. There has to be some kind of fun factor component
yeah.
to the game.
Uh,
Something that's a little fantasy, or not even necessarily fantasy, but just like gameplay elements.
I think
Like
they
Red
need
Dead
a
Redemption 2 isn't a fantasy,
yeah.
it's historical fiction, but it has the dead eye and stuff like that. There
Yeah.
has to be
I
something like
think
that.
stuff like the sword fighting in it, like while it's a really cool idea, it's probably the most one of the more accurate like
Irritating.
sword fighting systems. It's so janky and can be really difficult. So like
Yeah, maybe simplify that a
they
bit. Make just some
yeah,
parry animations.
refine
Come on,
that, refine it
make us
so
feel.
that yeah, give it a little bit of power fantasy there.
Yeah,
Um
a little bit.
which hopefully they can do. I mean, part of the kind of the point of the original game was sort of the character you're playing as, Henry, is supposed to like in lore and everything, he sucks.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the and
they
the
got that
idea
right.
and the idea is that you get better at the game and you level
One
him
of the
up.
lamest protagonists.
Yeah. But like you get better at the game and you level him up, and when you level him up and get stat points, it makes like the parry timing windows and stuff easier, so you feel you it helps you get better. And the idea is that you go from literally sucking at everything
Peasant.
to not sucking at everything.
Yeah.
And I know this next game is a continuation of his story, so maybe they can say, okay, he has experience. You
No more training
start the
now.
game not sucking at everything.
Yeah.
um, and maybe that'll make it a little bit more fun. Um,
And give us customization with Henry.
yeah, I
Let's
I'm
play
just
our own Henry. Do it Red Dead Redemption style, you know?
yeah, I like
Just do it like just Rockstar. If they made a medieval game, do it kind of like how
mm,
you would imagine that.
yeah,
But you can make it a little more hardcore and simulation like. But you got to add some razzle dazzle in there. There's got to be some gameplay
a little bit
element
of Monty
that's fun. You get
Python.
a little bit of yeah. Well, that
Yeah.
the original already had that. Um, yeah, a little Monty Python and a little bit of just fun gameplay elements and not just
Yeah,
irritating elements. Like I want the same base sword combat system to still be there,
but they got to
but just
refine
add
it.
better parry
Yeah,
windows, more animations.
yeah,
Like just have a simple parry button.
or yeah,
I think that would be fantastic
or
already.
yeah, that would be good. Or maybe you have
Like
options.
but and
Maybe
it
maybe
depends on what angle your
yeah,
sword's at or whatever. But
maybe a an accessibility option where they give you where you have an option for if you want the original style combat,
yeah,
or maybe an
yeah.
option where it's similar but you have a parry like a block stance
I'm sure there's people
that
that
makes
got
it
good.
easier to parry, you know?
Yeah, and I know
Like
people got good at the combat.
but it's really difficult
Still
combat, and
frustrating.
it's not like Souls, like Dark Souls difficult where it's like
It's
it's
just
fair and
frustrating.
stuff.
It's
No,
the controls
it's
are
just very
it.
janky and
Yeah.
very like very specific. And
Uh,
yeah, but I think I'm excited that they're making a sequel because I've always thought that, like when I was playing the original game when
wasn't
it
that game
first came
always first
out.
person?
Yeah, yeah, they've never had a third
Add a third
person.
person mode.
That would be cool. Yeah,
Add a third.
I mean
Trust me, I've
one.
been playing Red Dead in first person on the Steam Deck a lot actually, because it looks a little better, and
Hmm.
I'm not squinting at Arthur as much. And it just kind of changes the experience. But I love when games have that option because it does change the experience a bit.
I don't play Red Dead or GTA in first person, but I love that I have the option. Like,
Primarily, I like seeing my cool Arthur or
yeah.
whatever, and like
Well, it's just like
seeing
I
him in
don't play
action.
Skyrim in third person. I play it in first person because it's clearly designed to be played in first person. But I like that you can be in third person.
Exactly.
I want
And
the option. It's one of the frustrating things about Cyberpunk 2077. My little nitpicks is that there is no third person option. I want that. I want a third person. I
right.
know I probably wouldn't play it in third person, but I want third person.
I um just drawing a blank. I just thought of something. Maybe it'll come back to me.
Oh.
It's something about first and third person.
Mm.
Oh, Resident Evil Village. Just well, not
Oh
just.
yeah.
I mean, they did this maybe like a year ago at this point, but with the Gold Edition or whatever, which was also on sale. But I already have it on PlayStation. It would be cool on the Steam Deck, but I'd rather get 4 on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Anyways, they added a third person mode, so then it's like a traditional
Ooh,
like Resident Evil 4, basically.
nice, nice. That's awesome. I like the
And you
option.
actually get to see the character. For the longest time, there's an in-game joke, and that Ethan, the main character in the new Resident Evil series,
Uh-huh.
you never see his reflection. His head's always obscured. Even in like cut scenes, they never show him. It's always from his perspective. Or if they do show him, it's like the back of his head, or like
Right.
he's just conveniently behind a plant. Like literally, it's a in-universe joke that you never see his face, and then you finally do in the third-person mode.
Oh yeah.
However, it would have been great if he had a hoodie on, or or even better yet,
Like
black bar,
they're just yeah,
like
they're just not willing to
are
give you that.
pixelated.
Yeah. No.
And
I
by the
no.
way, I want a sequel to Resident Evil. Well, we're getting it, but Resident Evil 8. Hey, the
Yeah.
remakes are amazing. Resident Evil 4 remake. If that wasn't already a game, I mean, the remake is substantially better. Well, okay, the original is amazing. It was a classic, but the remake feels like a new game. Like it is, but it also feels like the old game. It's just fantastic. It's one of the best remakes I've seen. Same
Yeah.
thing with Dead Space remake. You're doing great with the remakes, Capcom. And Dragon's Dogma, doing well, mostly great with that. The launch was rough with performance and everything. Is everything all right? I think she's just
Hmm?
watching a show. I
Oh.
think she was reacting to the show.
Oh.
Roshi,
Hopefully.
hey, everything all right? You said, "Oh my God," real loud. But you're watching that witch show, right, Salem? She's watching a crazy Salem,
Oh.
some witch show. It's pretty cool. The bad guy from Avatar's in it. Um, he's also in Don't Breathe. I forget the actor
Bad guy from Avatar from the Blue People
from
movie?
the first Avatar movie. He's also in the second one as an Avatar,
Oh,
as
the
a
big
Navi.
military guy.
Yeah, the military.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
Marine, the grunt. He's in it.
Okay. Yeah.
Among other people. Xena, Warrior Princess, actress is in it. I forget her name, but I know she was in
I have never
that.
seen Xena Warrior Princess.
Me neither, but I recognized her from. She was also in Ash versus Evil Dead. I should
Ah.
probably look up her name at this point. Uh, uh, Lucy Lawless. That's a cool name, by the way.
That is a cool name.
It,
Yeah.
it also kind of sounds like a star name. Lucy Lawless.
Yeah.
Anyways, uh, what were you talking about?
I don't know.
Oh, Resident Evil 9. I want to see
Right,
Resident
right.
Evil 9. What is that going to be? And with the DLC and everything, it looks like it's going to follow Ethan's daughter. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
let's cool down on the remakes and do a sequel again.
I
Dragon's Dogma
if
was
we're
a
talking
remake as
about
well.
sequels to existing franchises that we should get, one I want to bring up is I think it's a fucking shame that the Assassin's Creed series has not done a proper sequel since the Ezio games.
Like with the same
Yeah, with the
protagonist.
same protagonist. I think it's ridiculous.
It's also a crying shame that
And like you take Assassin's Creed
Bayek has
Origin.
never. I thought
Yeah,
Bayek was going to be the new
I was
like
I was about to
Ezio,
say that. I was like, Assassin's Creed Origins. Don't get me wrong, I like Odyssey. That's a fun
but the
game.
era that took
But
place in, he
it
could have
was
went to
a
Greece. He could have gone to
yeah,
Rome, like
it
all these
was a
places.
absolute missed opportunity to not do a sequel to that game.
Yeah,
Like either one that it stars Bayek or one that stars Aya, because in the game at the end she goes to Rome and starts the Roman Brotherhood. What if we
yeah.
got to play as her in ancient Rome? That would have
Or
been
what if?
awesome.
Here's a cool
So
concept for
cool.
a
That would have
game.
been so cool.
Here's a concept for a game. I just came up with it.
Yeah.
It's probably been done before. Assassin's Creed: The Tale of Two Cities, but not French stuff.
Yeah.
But make it like that where you have whatever her character in Rome,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and then Bayek's still in Egypt because ancient Egypt was one of Ubisoft's best maps.
It's
I love
absolutely,
that
yeah.
map.
Yeah.
I love the setting. It's
I love
beautiful.
that.
It still holds up to this day.
Yeah.
Now a remake would be cool. If they're doing a remake of Black Flag, a remake of Origins would be pretty legit.
If they did a remake of Origins, but with some
But
better
just
balancing in the RPG stuff, because I think
yeah, better balancing
that's
in
the
RPG
main
stuff.
flaw I think of that game is it's very poorly balanced.
But I think exploring ancient Egypt has been one of my favorite game settings.
I think it's the best setting in all of the
Uh,
Assassin's Creed series. Like when you go into the tombs with the torch and
Renaissance
everything.
Italy is pretty good though.
That's don't
That's
get me
yeah.
wrong, that's great. But
In
like
fact, I
when
thought
you're
that's all Assassin's Creed was when I played
yeah,
Assassin's Creed 2. I thought it was just Italian, just
yeah.
Renaissance
But like
stuff.
in Assassin's Creed Origin, when you're Bayek and you go into like an ancient tomb and you pull out your torch, like no other Assassin's Creed game since then, even though they've had tombs and stuff for you to explore, they have not captured that like
No.
adventure spirit that that
I
game
felt like
has.
now
I felt like ancient Indiana
Odyssey setting
Jones
is
playing that game. Like
Odyssey setting is also pretty damn fantastic.
Odyssey is
Actually, the
great.
setting even in Valhalla, well, England's a little bit more bland than epic Greece and then ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
Still a really good, beautiful game,
I
great
don't
setting. Like it's a beautiful game.
hate Valhalla. I just I can't
But
I can't
well, I'm talking about
go
the setting.
yeah. The setting was fine. They as they did a better job with the historical accuracy in the Odyssey and
Yeah.
Origins. But
Oh, Vikings never have correct historical
yeah.
accuracy.
No, but I don't like Odyssey is a great game. I have that installed on my Steam Deck right now. It runs fantastic. It's a fun game. I like the mercenary like tier list thing that they do in that where you like kill mercenaries
Yeah.
and move up in the rankings. That's fun. It's a fun game, but it's a damn shame that they didn't do a sequel, an actual sequel to to Origins.
Or also Unity.
Would have been so good.
I thought
Unity, yeah.
Arno was also going to be a new
Yeah, but
protagonist.
Unity launched with such a disaster that
Yeah, it
they
was never going to
couldn't
happen.
they couldn't continue. I will defend Unity. I actually really like that game, but no, they that game was doomed.
Imagine a sequel to Assassin's Creed 3.
Well, I mean that's
War of 1812, maybe?
that would have been cool. I mean
Like an aging
they
Connor.
kind of tried to
They
do
could do the
that
Revelations type
with
thing.
Black Flag and Rogue, where they tried to do like a whole like an anthology series where they're all connected, and I thought that that's a cool idea.
They are. I mean, Assassin's
But
Creed is all.
well, I mean like Assassin's Creed 3, Rogue, and 4. If you
Oh,
play
like
them,
centered around that
yeah. So like if you play those games in the order
setting.
of Black Flag, Rogue, and then Assassin's Creed 3, it is a cohesive story.
Yeah, it's all about
I like that idea,
the
but
Kenway
they just
bloodline.
they don't want to bring back characters anymore. They don't want to, and I don't understand why. Because Bayek and Io are so freaking cool.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
great
it's also
characters.
and Bayek wasn't even like the most interesting character,
I
but
thought
he
he was
fit the bill
fantastic.
perfect. Well, he fit the bill
Yeah.
like
Well,
kind of reminded
I
me of
also think
Altair and like
I think he fit the bill. I also think the voice actor
Mirage though.
was fantastic.
I gotta play that game again, Assassin's Creed Mirage.
I still haven't played
It's
it.
not a fantastic game. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, so to speak. But it's a more down to earth Assassin's Creed Assassin's Creed experience. There's still some of that RPG stuff there. They try to hide it, like hide the
Yeah.
numbers and whatever.
Well, like ultimately
Literally,
that
but the
game
UI is the same.
did start as a
Um,
DLC for Valhalla.
but
So
the setting gave obviously it's in Baghdad in like 980 or something like that. And the setting definitely gave me similar vibes to ancient Egypt, of course, like of all the palm trees and desert and like
Yeah.
stuff like that. And it's also a really great setting. Um, it'll be interesting to see like the Assassin's Creed Salem Witch Project thing, or not Witch Project, but the Witch Trials Assassin's
Yeah,
Creed.
Hex,
I don't
Assassin's
know if
Creed
it's gonna be
Hex.
Salem.
I think it's like Holy Roman Empire, like Germany.
Like, give us a witch doctor mask. I mean, crow mask as a cosmetic.
Oh yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be fantastic. It'd fit perfectly.
That sounds cool.
Um,
Apparently the leaks are they're gonna have more like supernatural stuff in that game, which I don't know.
well, Assassin's Creed's been doing that since.
Yeah. A lot of Assassin's Creed fans
I mean,
really
they really
complain.
leaned into it before. Origins does lean into the supernatural stuff. The like gods are real, or they're the ancient civilization or something like that,
Well, Origins does a
or the first
thing where
civilization.
it hints at the first civilization thing being the gods, but in these sequences where Bayek actually encounters like supernatural stuff, it's usually described as like he's hallucinating.
Right.
It was
Whatever way
Odyssey.
they
It was
excuse it.
Odyssey that went hard on like the Minotaur is a real thing type of thing. Like,
Yeah.
um, which I don't
They kinda
mind
had
that
to.
much because it's an ancient Greece RPG. I want to fight the Minotaur.
The mythology of it
Like,
is so ingrained as it ancient Greek culture. You don't really
Mhm.
distinguish those two, the mythology of the culture and just the culture itself.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well, I mean, one thing I like in those
even
games
historically,
with the history thing is that when you're exploring the world and you talk to characters, both your character and NPCs in the world talk about the gods and their mythology as if it's real.
mhm,
Or sometimes you encounter a character who doesn't think it's real, but like there's still like because that's a period of time where humans just in general didn't distinguish history from mythology. It was kind of just
right.
all. But no, I
Isn't
think
history our own mythology? History's written by the victors.
yeah, I guess so, yeah. It's one thing I love
American
about
West is a
the
mythology.
it's one thing I love
Romanticized.
about the Elder Scrolls games and how they do world building is every bit of world building they do in those games is told from you from the perspective of a person in the world who is
Mhm.
just speculating.
Yeah.
So but anyway, no, I think Assassin's Creed has not done a proper sequel in a long time, and it's a shame because I think there's
You
been
mean
a
like
lot
a
of
narrative sequel?
yeah, like an actual narrative sequel, like how Brotherhood was
Main
to
protagonist.
Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed 2. They should do that. They should have done a sequel to Origins.
Yeah.
Like
Well, after the Ezio trilogy,
that was it.
that is it. Yeah.
The only other time
Desmond was the only reoccurring character, and they killed him off pretty quick after that.
Desmond,
Um,
yeah, because he died off in 3, and then Hatham has been a recurring character in a few of the
yeah.
games. He appears in Rogue as one of the like a side character.
Well, and then the character Mirage is in
Oh
Valhalla.
yeah, he is right. Um, but
He's a
other than
good
that, like
character.
they've never done like an actual narrative sequel, and it's stupid. I want I
It was
want that.
amazing in Revolutions when Ezio spoke to Desmond, like through his memories, or
Oh
I
yeah,
forgot how exactly he did that. But like Ezio figured it out. Like
yeah, yeah.
he was the
No,
only one to figure it out
it
about
was
Banished and
basically
about
like he's with
because
the
he went to
Apple of
Altair's.
Eden. He goes to Altair's tomb, and he
Yeah,
just over years and years of these first civilization
he's
spirits.
interacted with Apple Eden the most out of
Yeah,
any
he's
character.
interact. It was like he's interacted with
Well,
the
any
Apple of
assassin.
Eden, and throughout 2 and Brotherhood, what happens is like these first civilization spirits talk through Ezio's memories directly to Desmond. And the first
Yeah,
time it happens, Ezio's like, what the fuck is going on? But by the time Revelations
yeah,
rolls around, he's like, I know what's going on. Desmond, I don't know what the fuck you are, but I know you can hear me.
yeah. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to
Actually, good Assassin's Creed movie would also be welcomed, or series or
I never
something
saw the movie. I heard it was
with Michael
meh.
Fassbender.
Yeah.
It looks very meh. It looks very Sony Spider-Verse. I don't know if Sony made it, but it looks like a
Yeah.
Morbius type
I
of
feel like
movie.
these days they could do it better. We've been really lucky with video game movies recently. And like
Fallout
adapt
is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Anyway,
Going to movies that deserve a sequel, though.
yes.
I have a list, and I'm not gonna go through all of them, but here's one. It's on the list. Uh, Van Helsing, the Hugh
Yes.
Jackman version.
Yes. I
Uh,
was thinking about this when you were talking about Bloodborne.
it is very Bloodborne,
I know it's a bad
and
movie, but I love it and I want more of it.
of that universe, right?
I,
Like
I
you
want
want
more
to
of it. It's
see what
just
that looks
camp.
like.
It's just campy and silly and fun. I like it. Um,
Yeah,
I like the Dracula in it. The actor is just like he's like the most dramatic, like over the top, like stereotype of Dracula. Um,
mhm.
Hugh Jackman's fun. Um, yeah, I want more of that. I want more of that stuff.
Here's another one. This is recent, and I'm sure it is gonna get a sequel. Barbie.
Oh, probably will, yeah. I'm not sure it needs a sequel.
No, it doesn't. It can
Don't get
be
me
its
wrong.
own standalone thing. Leave it
I
alone. Let
would
it
be
be a pop
happy with
culture.
I'd be happy
Like
with a
people are gonna read it in
sequel.
history books. Barbenheimer kids are gonna be reading about Barbenheimer
Yeah.
and their history books.
If I'm ever a history teacher,
And
I'll teach the kids
make a
about
Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer.
Write
Yeah.
an essay. Write a Barbenheimer's essay and discuss how Oppenheimer's creation of the bomb ties into Barbie. Discuss the themes throughout.
Yeah.
Restate the thesis.
Yeah.
And how does the atomic age and Barbie go hand in hand? And they actually do.
There is something there, I think. Yeah.
There is something there.
No, I think Barbie doesn't need a sequel just
What
because
about an
of
Oppenheimer sequel? He dies
Oppenheimer
alone.
Oppenheimer
It's
2
just
Electric
it's
Boogaloo.
just like more procedural stuff, like and just him imagining things, but he doesn't really do anything. No, but Godzilla -1 is the Oppenheimer sequel in my heart.
Yeah. No, I
Oh,
think
I want a
Bar
sequel to that.
Oh yeah.
I want to see more of this Godzilla universe.
Yeah.
This like remake universe it is.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Um, The Nice Guys. That's another
Oh yeah,
movie.
yeah. I love that movie. That one's
Ryan
fun.
Gosling, Russell Crowe, and it's on this list here. And I would love to see just
That's
more of this duo.
that's one of those
So
movies where I was surprised on how fun it was.
didn't we watch it together?
Yeah, I watched it with I've seen it a few times. I saw it in theaters
We
when it
drank like
came
a whole
out.
bottle of mead.
Yeah, and then I
I
watched
know
it
it
with
was a
you
snowy
once.
night.
Yeah. No, that movie's a lot of fun. That's where me and Caleb got the logo design for the Molly Nixons was the Richard Nixon in the swimming pool doing that.
Oh,
That
really?
was the idea for it.
From The Nice Guys?
No, that's a fun movie. I want to see more of that duo. Yeah.
Yeah. And it could just be another kind of low stakes crime
I just
comedy,
we don't have a lot.
because
We
it's a
don't.
comedy.
It is, yeah.
It's funny,
It's a buddy cop
and
comedy,
but
and
it's also, they're taking down porn industry gangsters and
yeah,
whatever. And
it's fun.
it's
It's
a
a
lot of
fun
fun. 70s.
like cheesy period piece parody thing.
Yeah, it almost could fit well into like long time or what's it called? Quentin Tarantino's new movie.
Yeah.
Uh,
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon yeah, it kind
Yeah.
of feels like that. Tarantino, I know he was working on his 10th film,
Yeah. And he
the
decided he's
film
not.
critic, but that's not it apparently.
He's
And
decided he's not
Kill
doing
Bill
that.
Volume 3, people, Kill Bill Volume 3,
That would be
the
amazing.
daughter comes back for revenge
That would
against
be
Uma Thurman.
that would be awesome. Yeah.
Just saying. I know
I
Kill
know
Bill is technically the only sequels
I love
series he's
Tarantino.
ever
I
done,
love
but
I
he
love
considers it one
Tarantino.
film.
Yeah. I love Tarantino. despite his unnecessary use of the N-word.
Yeah.
He does not need to use it that much. Come on, dude. uh, I love Tarantino, and I
He
and
doesn't
I
have to have that much
and
fame
he
either.
has that whole thing of like he's doing 10 movies and then he's done. Dude, you don't have to stick to that rule.
Don't rob us.
It seems like he's obviously like putting off making this the film critic because he obviously just isn't done with filming. It's like you're the one that made that
I
rule.
think he just wants to be
You,
cool.
yeah,
Just keep doing your thing where you said this is the 10th film by Quentin
yeah,
Tarantino, like in the
yep.
title crawl or whatever.
And if you really, really have to, if you really have to only make 10 films, make a TV show.
I don't know if he'd be the best at a TV show.
But I don't know. I'm just like,
But then again, the Hateful Eight extended edition felt like a miniseries.
yeah, and it's great.
It's like 6 hours long or
Yeah.
something. A lot of dialogue. Really
I
great.
I love the
I want to
That's a
see.
great movie.
Everyone says
Yeah.
Kill Bill, but what about Death? What's it called? Kurt Russell. Um, the Grindhouse one.
Uh-huh.
Death Ride or Death Mobile or what is it
Oh,
called?
oh, I don't remember what it's called. Like
I gotta look it up now.
Death Race?
No,
No.
not Death Race.
Let's see.
Death Proof,
Death Proof. Right.
which was on the Grindhouse duology, the like anthology. Robert Rodriguez made the other one, Planet Terror.
Yeah.
But Death Proof, I like to see a sequel to that. That was my first Grindhouse film,
Yeah.
actually, which is a genre. It's not one I dip my toes in too often, because it's often, you know, very gross and
But
just.
they can be fun though. They can be.
But they are fun.
Robert
Well, and
Rodriguez is just great. I mean, one movie that this isn't a sequel, but a movie that I think it's a bummer we never got this was so I'm a big fan of the Zorro movies with Antonio Banderas. And the original one, is it The Mask of Zorro? I think that's the first one. I get the titles confused. Um, that one started as with Robert Rodriguez attached to it. And apparently the original idea was it would be a post-apocalyptic film like Zorro film. So it'd be
really,
Zorro,
like Mad Max.
but like Mad Max or Book of Eli or something like that. And it was
That'd
going
be
to be
cool.
directed by Robert Rodriguez with Antonio Banderas. And that's one of the reasons why Antonio Banderas ended up playing Zorro in the actual movie, because when Robert Rodriguez left the project, Banderas stayed on as it kind of got rewritten into a more traditional Zorro movie. That is a movie I think it's a bummer we never got that, because that sounds awesome. I love Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He's just makes fantastic stuff. Recently I rewatched the
Well, you
Spy
just
Kids
mentioned
movies. And the Spy Kid movies, despite being kind of terrible
yeah.
and cheesy and childish, they have just this telenovela flair to them that is so much fun though. Um,
Right.
and I love that. So I wish we would have gotten that film.
You mentioned earlier, it would be interesting to see a sequel to Book of Eli, Denzel Washington. I don't
That
know if
was
he
a cool
dies
movie.
in that movie.
No, he doesn't. I don't think he does. He gets to
Either way,
San Francisco, and
he brings the Bible to the.
well, the Bible, he loses it, but then
Yeah.
the reveal at the end was that he was wearing the sunglasses the whole time because he's blind, and the Bible he had was in Braille.
Right.
So he had memorized it. So he gets to like the place that like
And he tells,
catalogs these stuff and he can tell them the Bible from memory.
which it would be interesting to see how his version pans out.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much you can remember.
Yeah. I don't know.
So it'd be like Denzel Washington's version of the Bible, like
I,
the King
yeah,
James edition, but the Denzel Washington
the
edition.
Denzel
That'd be
Washington.
pretty cool. Bad. I'd read that.
I would read that too. If Denzel Washington came out with an edition of the Bible, I'd read
Like
it.
an audiobook.
No,
He has to read it.
just like,
Well,
I mean, sure, that I would listen to Washington read the Bible, but and I'm not even religious, but I mean, if a published version of the Bible came out that was instead of the King James Bible was the Denzel Washington Bible, I'd be like, I'm buying that.
hell
I
yeah.
don't know that
Yeah.
that sounds stupid, but I kind of want it.
But a sequel to that would be cool.
That would be
that
cool.
universe.
I like that. I like that
was a really good movie. Actually.
Yeah.
Another one. Well, I would love to, I guess Shyamalan's already done a sequel to some of his movies.
Yeah, he
like
did.
The Glass Universe.
Yeah,
With
he's
James
done that.
McAvoy and
Yeah,
Bruce Willis.
those movies are okay.
Yeah.
Well, Unbreakable is
that's what I
pretty.
have to say about a lot of these
Unbreakable is
movies.
pretty good. Glass and whatever the one with James McAvoy are okay.
Imagine a Sixth Sense sequel.
Oh yeah,
And the kid's growing up and whatever, and he's still talking to Bruce Willis. And let's just imagine Bruce Willis can still make movies. I don't know what the current situation is.
I know he's retired now.
Yeah, but but imagine that, but it's like a buddy comedy. Like the kid's grown up now, but like Bruce Willis, this ghost is still in his house, just hanging out, drinking a beer, whatever, and he just has to live with that, and like he still sees dead people, but now since he's 30 and depressed, he doesn't care.
There could be some
it's
really
just their
funny gags.
nuisance.
There could be like he brings home a woman, like his date, and they go up to the
Yeah.
bedroom, and it's Bruce Willis is hanging out in the bedroom, and he's like, "Dude, kind of a cock block right now." Like, but the lady, she has no idea what the fuck's going on.
Well, imagine all the
lady.
shenanigans. Yeah.
Just the
That's
Sixth
the
Sense,
twist.
but more shenanigans.
That's the twist. More shenanigans. Shalaman, he announced a new film. It's called The Butcher, or no, I forget what it's called. You have to look it up. But basically, the premise is it's like a Beyonce or Taylor Swift concert. This guy's with his like tween daughter, took her, got her tickets and everything, and he's just there. And it's a huge stadium, like 80,000 people type thing. A huge one of those huge concerts, pop star concerts.
Yeah.
And the twist is the FBI and everything, and police and SWAT teams start showing up around the perimeter during this concert, and they're looking for a serial killer that the fans of this star kind of came together and figured out the serial killer was also going to be at this concert. And then it's revealed that the main character of the trailer of the film is the serial killer. So he's there at the concert with his daughter, and they're trying to find him amongst all these people. Obviously he's not going to reveal the actual twist in the trailer.
Yeah.
That's just the initial twist.
I like M. Night Shyamalan at his best has made some really good movies, but as at his worst, it's like, I mean, the stereotype of always has a twist, and sometimes the twist isn't actually set up,
doesn't serve
and doesn't serve a purpose. A good twist,
just there.
A good twist should still work even if it's been spoiled for you.
Right.
Fight Club. Fight Club, the twist, even if you know about the twist,
it's like Sixth Sense.
it still works. Yeah, and Sixth Sense is a good one. Sixth Sense is a good one, but what was the movie? The Village. That's a stupid twist. That's a terrible
I
one.
forget what the twist is.
Like they just he just always he has a lot of movies where it doesn't seem like he thought out the twist
Oh,
very
well, the Avatar movie also had a twist.
Yeah,
It was bad.
yeah,
That's the twist. It
yeah.
comes in the first act. And then you find out, oh, the twist that is that
Oh no.
this movie is bad.
Yeah.
Uh, there's some other movies. Well, on one of these lists, I saw Jaws. I was like, wait a second.
Jaws had
That did
sequels.
have sequels, and they were
They were bad.
except for the second one's the best one, and that one's still
Still pretty
bad.
bad, yeah.
And it's the
Yeah.
best one out of the sequels. Obviously, the
Um,
original Jaws is a cinematic masterpiece.
It would be really
Still
cool.
works
It'd be
for
really
still.
cool, Jackson, if the original Indiana
But
Jones,
imagine this.
if the Indiana Jones trilogy got a sequel.
Imagine this. No, but we can talk about that. But imagine the Halloween reboot formula, where
Oh,
only
yeah.
the first one counts. So what if we got a sequel to Jaws, and only the first Jaws counts?
I
And then they just try to make it like it,
the
at
thing with
least
the thing
in
with
the style of
Jaws,
the original.
that's like one of my favorite movies, like top 20 favorite movies.
Yeah, easy. Yeah.
It does not strike me as a movie where any sequel would work. I just don't
Well,
see a
we're just
situation.
hypothetical.
But like,
Okay, a prequel. We learn about the shark's upbringing.
but that was made. It's called Shark Tale.
Oh, true. Well, we
Yeah.
did get a prequel.
And it has Robert De Niro in it.
Martin Scorsese is that?
Oh, it is Robert. Yeah, Martin right.
No, they're both in it.
They are both. I think they're both in it.
It
Yeah.
was just like
Will
it
Smith.
must have been just like a fun vacation trip. Hey, you want to record a few lines for this dumb movie
It has to have been. Yeah.
before we make the next masterpiece?
Yeah. Next time Martin Scorsese like talks about how Marvel movies aren't real cinema, someone
like,
should
"You
just
did
be
Shark
like, "Yeah, but you also did Shark Tale." So.
And he said
Uh,
they're entertainment. It's like going to an amusement park. That's what he said.
Yeah.
And that is perfectly
You know what? Sure. Yeah.
accurate in most cases.
In
That's
most
the
cases.
point of those movies.
But
They're
there
to be fun
can
and
there
entertaining.
can be superhero movies that I think
yeah, like
qualify as
Logan.
being like Logan, or
Just a good movie.
I think Winter Soldier qualifies as just being a
that
good
one?
film.
I think the original
Like-
Spider-Man. I mean, there's definitely good ones in there. The Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, even with the second one,
Yeah.
a good film.
Another here's a movie I've seen this on some lists I was reading earlier. District 9, I think needs a sequel. That
I've only
movie,
seen that movie like twice.
I didn't see
Traumatized me
that
as a kid.
until
And-
when I was in high school. I took like a film class and we watched it in class, and I was blown away.
Yeah.
I think that movie is phenomenal.
It's good.
And I've
Good
heard
practical effects.
amazing practical effects. And CGI, the
It's like
prawns,
the alien
the
ghetto.
aliens are
I mean,
CGI. Well, it's
You know
apartheid.
how it relates to,
It's apartheid.
Apartheid, yeah.
Yeah, it's
And yeah,
um
that would be cool to see more of the universe. I would like to see whose character that turned into the bug, the prawn.
yeah.
I'd like to see his
Yeah,
future adventures. And didn't the same director do Chappie,
he did.
which
Yeah.
is also like South Africa? Hugh Jackman's in it. He's a bad guy in it, and it's a bad movie, at least in my opinion.
I've never seen it or honestly
I don't like
read
any of the
read reviews or anything.
I don't like any of the characters. I don't like anything about that movie except for Hugh Jackman and Chappie.
Yeah.
The South African rapper duo he gets with are annoying. Okay, just straight up annoying. Okay.
No, but with District 9, I've heard some rumors, some talks over the years. Every once in a while, they pop up of the the director wants to like do something else with that series, with that movie, but I don't think anything's ever actually been announced or anything like that. I'd be pretty excited if they announced that there was a sequel to District 9 coming out next year. I would be like, I'm going to see that absolutely in theaters. Yeah.
Here's another one. It's on a list on Games Radar.
Hmm.
And I don't think this movie is great by any means. Um, The Green Hornets
Oh yeah.
with Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
I would kind of like to see more of that universe. It actually set up a better movie for the sequel. Like,
I
hey, now he's
yeah.
got the technology. Now it's just the Green Hornet. None of the origin story stuff. They can get to
Yeah.
just more
I would
action and
watch that.
that
Yeah.
campy and like kind of campy and also just that pulp action hero
Yeah.
superhero thing. Um,
I would watch
and
that.
Seth Rogen is obviously like in better shape now and everything, so you could say, hey, Kato trained him more, and like now he can actually fight
I
some. Like it's
feel
not just
like
he's not just
I
a
do
joke.
feel like
Um,
that version of the Green Hornet and all that would lend itself well to
and it
like
would be a comedy
a
still.
non-serialized TV show, like an Adventure of the Week type of thing.
Yeah.
I think it would lend itself really well to that.
Well, and Seth Rogen, he's in Invincible. I don't know if he directed, but he produced the new TMNT, the Ninja Turtles movie, Mutant
Hmm.
Mayhem.
Yeah.
And even at the beginning of the film, he he said, "Hey," he did a Seth Rogen laugh, and he basically said, "Hey, I hope you guys enjoy this movie. We poured our hearts and souls because we love the Ninja Turtles, etc.
Yeah.
Have fun, type of thing." And amazing movie. In
I
fact,
think
I can't wait to see a sequel to that one.
I think Seth
That's
Rogen
another thing.
recently, I mean
But like with
I've
comic book stuff, I
I've
think he could have another crack at the Green Hornet
I've
and get
always
it
thought Seth
better.
Rogen has been a good writer and like producer and director and all that sort of stuff. But I feel like recently he's really come out of his shell, pun
Yeah.
intended, as like
Well,
a movie maker, not just a funny
yeah.
guy.
And
Um,
I think if he had another crack at Green Hornet, um, get the returning cast, get Christoph Waltz, unless he dies.
I don't remember. It's been a long time.
But he was pretty good in that movie as the
Yeah.
villain. um,
Or 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 do
David Harbour's even in it. Like you have people
yeah.
that were already in the first one that are huge. You can bring Cameron Diaz back because she
Hmm.
hasn't done a lot in a while. Like audiences would come to this just to see those
I
people
I would
again.
see that. I would watch that.
Um, and
Yeah.
it could still be the same type of humor where it's kind of the do bro movie mixed with an action movie. That's basically what they try to do.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah, I
but that
think
movie also had some moments of objectively good shots and like
I think
dialogue, like especially when it gets into the heart of things. But like some of the
yeah.
action moments are cool where he does the Hornet Vision or whatever you call it.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was the choreography wasn't the best, but the like concept was
That
cool.
that
It
movie
kind of reminded me
is
like Arkham Detective Mode or
it's not
something.
as bad as people I think make it out to
It's
be.
not.
It's not like Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern, or anything like
No, but
that.
whoa, shit! Imagine if Ryan Reynolds was in on it, or like some of the writers for the Deadpool movies
Hmm.
helped write the new Green Hornet movie.
I feel like
Um,
in today's
make it violent,
like
make it
superhero
funny.
movie like kind of like atmosphere with Deadpool being a thing and all that
Well,
sort of stuff. Um
Invincible, The Boys.
Invincible.
It's
I know it's
people
not
are
a
growing up.
I know it's not a superhero movie, but with movies like Kingsman
Yeah.
that have come out since then, with the way it handled action and comedy kind of in the same movie, um,
Um,
I think they could do it. They
Guardians
could
does
pull it
that.
off. Yeah.
Uh, but we have, as comic book superhero movie audiences have grown up, we expect more mature stories, and that doesn't mean they have to be raunchy or like obscene or gory. Like Winter Soldier is a mature story. Logan's a mature story. It's not treating us like we're stupid. It's not treating us
Yeah,
like kids. Yeah, you can keep making superhero films that appease to children, and that's great.
we
You
can
can
have
make
both.
like Across
Like,
Spider-Verse does both. Um,
we're
and a lot
starting
of
to get to the
MCU tries
point
to
where
do
like
both.
audiences
But
don't
now,
just see
like
superhero
Disney,
character and assume it's a kids movie.
yeah, well, and like
That's
Disney, you got to give them credit for just letting Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy and everybody
mhm.
do their thing with the new Deadpool.
Yeah.
It's rated R. Um, the trailer doesn't shy that, because I think, and with movies like that, with movies like Deadpool, with movies like Joker, he's more mature. Well, Deadpool's a very immature character. It's like Always Sunny. Hey, the show is made for mature audiences, even though it's about the most immature people ever. Uh,
Yeah.
um, so when I say mature, I don't mean it's like serious.
Yeah.
But even the new X-Men, uh, X-Men 97, it has gotten pretty dark and like takes on real subjects and romances and stuff like that, and like death
Yeah.
um, and it's great. But
What else?
as a sequel,
I had something in my head for a moment
something.
there. I try to remember. But no,
I'm trying to
I
think.
would totally watch a sequel to that. That would be a lot of fun. Um,
Am I really itching for one? Like, but if that was something that was announced,
ah,
I'd be like, oh, that'd be
I
fun.
did write down a couple here, a couple movies. Uh, I think we should get a sequel to Dread, Carl Urban. Have you seen
Yeah.
that movie?
No, actually, I can't lie to
Go
you.
watch it
I haven't.
immediately. It's awesome. It's like 80s B movie, cyberpunk aesthetic. Carl Urban has a permanent like frown on his face the whole time. He never takes off his helmet. Not once. The whole movie, you never see his face. Um,
Oh yeah.
really stylish like action scenes and special effects. It's it's it all takes place in one building. The entire movie takes place in one apartment building that gets
Oh
locked
really?
down. It's just pure like B movie, like 80s B movie, violent, like cyberpunk dystopian future aesthetic. It's phenomenal. I had a coworker last year at the liquor store who recommended it to me. And I went home and watched it and was immediately like within the first 5 minutes, I was like hooked on this movie.
Really?
And it didn't do super well financially. So it never got greenlit for a sequel or anything. I think the studio that produced it wanted it to be like because it's like 2012 or something like that. Wanted it to be like a big like they're like their superhero movie type of thing because Avengers was coming out at the time. They had this comic book character Judge Dredd, um, so they wanted to capitalize on it. So it didn't do like financially successful, like, but fantastic movie. Um, I think it's a. I've heard Carl Urban. He's been asked about it over the years, and he said he would be willing to do it. And there's been some rumors recently that there could be a sequel, but nothing has ever been confirmed. That's that I would if they announce a sequel to that, I'd get pretty excited. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
You got to check.
Um,
I think you would love that movie.
here's one. Technically has two movies. Another National Treasure movie
Oh
with
yeah,
Nick Cage.
with Nick Cage, very
Has to
important.
have Nick Cage.
Yes. Um, I haven't watched the Disney Plus show,
Looks
but
bad by all
I've
accounts.
heard it's bad. I've heard it's really bad. Uh,
And it could
uh,
be really bad, but if they had Nick Cage in it, you would excuse it.
yeah. Nick Cage is
I'll
the
watch anything with that man.
I saw this whole, I think it's like a video essay talking about, I don't remember though everything they talked about, but it was just on this idea of like that treasure hunter action adventure film like genre.
Just scratches an itch.
If you look at every single successful film that's in that genre, Indiana Jones, The Mummy, National Treasure, it's like what's the commonality is you have this lead role who is both charismatic and cool, but also a complete moron, and you get the sense that everything they do is complete luck based.
Well, not as much of
Like,
Indy. There's a lot of luck in there, but he's also a professor and all this
but
stuff.
he's also sometimes he's a total moron.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest. He's a smart guy,
Well,
but
he's just winging it.
yeah,
He's not a moron. He's winging it.
yeah.
He's improvising.
But like Brendan Fraser in The Mummy, you
Definitely
can't
more of a moron.
you can't convince me that those movies would have worked without him.
No.
It could have been
Yeah,
exactly the same, but with a different actor, and it would have sucked.
And Nick Cage has an extra factor.
He's
He
got the
can
wild
be
card
charismatic,
factor.
but
Yeah.
he's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got the insanity.
Yeah.
The Nick Cage.
And he could
is
still do
nuts.
it. He absolutely could still do one of those movies. Like,
No, I would love, honestly, I forget how the movie ends because I think no, he wins in the end, I think. Spoiler alert, but we tried watching it. It was a fever dream.
the
We
National
were
Treasure
blackout drunk.
movies.
No. Well, maybe, but Mandy with Nick
Oh,
Cage,
right. Yeah. Yeah.
which is a complete like acid trip, like
Yeah.
bad trip of a
Yeah.
movie.
We got drunk and I passed out about 20 minutes into the movie. Yeah.
But I would love to see a sequel like in the same kind of style, and go all in with it, and just as long
Yeah.
as you bring Nick Cage and he's killing fucking
Just
psycho serial killer, like whatever was going on there,
yeah.
crazy shit. But and do all the psychedelic stuff,
Yeah.
play King
I need
Crimson again.
I need to give
It'd be
that
cool to see more of that movie,
yeah.
more of that universe.
I need to check that out again. Yeah.
In fact, some of that movie feels Ghost Rider. In fact, there's like a Ghost Rider tribute in the film where he grabs a chain and he like whips it around a guy's neck. Like
Cool.
Ghost Rider.
I love
That's
that
another
movie.
one. I would like to see his character again.
Yeah.
And whether he
If
shows up like in Secret Wars or something, or the
that would be
second
cool.
Ghost Rider movie is
Yeah.
horrifically bad. It's
Yeah.
like a direct to DVD
It's
movie, and Nick Cage does those movies.
Yeah.
Okay, he does all the movies.
just all of them. I love him. I love him for that. I love that. Like, it's one of the things I love
he
about Nick
bought
Cage.
too many islands, bought too
Yeah.
many
It's
illegal
one
black
thing I
market
love about Nick
Tyrannosaurus
Cage
Rex
is that
skulls.
Nick Cage will do anything. And
Um,
some of his best roles seemingly I think came out like Willy's Wonderland. I don't obviously know the backstory of how they
See a
made
sequel to
that
that.
movie, but I'm convinced that the only reason Nick Cage took that movie is because he just takes anything. He will take any movie that seems interesting to him.
Yeah.
I do also like if you
like
watch
Spirit of Vengeance-
interviews, but if you watch interviews with Nick Cage, he does actually also seem like the type of actor who really does care about picking roles that he thinks are interesting
Mhm.
over picking movies that he thinks are going to be good. Like he values the acting
He has a lot of fun with it.
part of it
Yeah.
over the what if the movie's going to be good
I
part
think
of it.
Nick Cage actually is a
Like,
good actor.
I think he is. He's kind of
He just goes so overblown
yeah.
most of the time that you forget that, but that's like his style.
I wouldn't
Like,
be able to
I wouldn't
do
want it any other
a
way.
Nick Cage
I wouldn't
role.
want to either.
Yeah.
Like, imagine. Well, I saw this new Nick Cage movie, some of it. I need to finish it. Called Dream, or no, I forget what it's called, but it's basically the concept of this film just came out like last year, by the way. Nick Cage. Remember when we talked about this creepy pasta, like internet thing, where you dream about the same guy, like everyone's dreaming about the same person.
Yeah, yeah. But it's
Well,
Nick Cage.
they made a movie about that, and yeah, it's Nick Cage, and he's a real person. He's like a college professor, history professor, just trying to live his life.
But for some
And then
reason,
people
everyone's
start
dreaming about
mentioning,
him.
it
Yeah.
starts spreading, and yeah, people start mentioning, "Hey, you were in my dream." He's like, "Oh, that's strange. Like we don't even know each other, or stuff like that." But and it gets weirder and weirder.
Mm,
Like there's dreams where he's killing people, and like
damn.
I can't remember if it becomes like, oh, he does it in real life, or it's like premonitions type thing. I forgot what the twist was.
Right.
Um, but he's in everyone's dreams. I mean, that's
Huh.
already a twist. But
That sounds cool though. Yeah.
but that was pretty good.
I just
But
I
anything with
just
Nick
I just
Cage.
want more Nick Cage. Hey, hey, if we're talking about the Indiana Jones movies, what if they did a reboot with Nick Cage? Let's just any movie that needs a
Well, National
reboot.
Treasure was Nick Cage's Indiana Jones,
But what just any movie that they that need that is going to get a reboot, just Nick Cage.
right?
Wolverine, Nick Cage.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be pretty good. Let's okay. Do you have any other movies to talk about?
Well, last one that comes to mind off the top of my head is this is a recent movie, so it's kind of cheating a little bit because it only came out last year. But what I've heard about it is that a sequel seems unlikely. Is the Dungeons and Dragons Among Thieves or Honor Among Thieves? Um,
Yeah.
needs a sequel. I thought that movie was fantastic. I think a sequel would be great. But the rumors, like people have asked Chris Pine about it. And just in general, it seems like a sequel, at least for now, is unlikely because I mean, it was a straight to streaming movie pretty much. Just did really terrible in the box office and went straight to Paramount Plus. Um,
Yeah.
but if you like fantasy movies and you want something that's lighthearted and funny, that's a fantastic movie. Yeah. I don't
Yeah, I
have
gotta
much else
check
to
that
say
one
about
out
it.
too.
Yeah. This is your homework, Jackson. You need to watch the D&D movie and you need to
And
watch
Dread.
Dread. That's your homework.
All
I
right.
think Dread you can watch on like the Roku channel or something like that.
Nice.
I think that's where I watched it. Uh, uh,
What's another one-off game I've played recently? Um, Let me look at my Steam library.
Alien Isolation should get a sequel.
Yeah, like in the same style and everything.
Well, they could do the same style, but they could
Oh, did you see that new Alien movie?
saw something about it. I didn't actually
The same guy, pretty good horror director's doing it. The same guy that did
okay, right now you can watch Dread on Peacock.
nice.
It might be on the Roku channel too, but it's at least on
I
Peacock.
would like to see a proper sequel to Undertale, and there's kind of one in the works.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Undyne, I believe. Um, but that's a fantastic game, and in fact, I got to get back into it. It'll be perfect on the Steam Deck. I can just imagine.
Yeah.
I love the art style, I love the music, but that game just carries itself with dialogue and just fun moments and just
One game
very emotionally rich. And yeah, the fandom is kind of cringe.
yeah, but that doesn't mean the game is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the game
I
has a
mean,
really fun sense of
one
humor.
game I've
And
been back into again recently is Stardew Valley. And while I do think a
yeah,
direct sequel would be kind of redundant, the creator of that game is working on a new game called It's like I don't know if it's what it's called, but it's like the Haunted Chocolatier. So you're like a Willy Wonka character in a haunted house.
oh, that's cool.
But it's still like Stardew Valley
Something
cozy
I didn't know I wanted.
pixelated stuff. So it's kind of like it's not a sequel, but it's like same developer kind of spiritual sort of like what he
Mhm.
just is doing next, and it looks really fun. Yeah,
That sounds fantastic. I love that. That's an amazing concept,
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Um,
After watching Wonka, it just makes me want to
yeah.
be an eccentric
Um,
chocolatier magician. Yeah.
right. Um, a sequel to Elder Scrolls would be in order. That would be nice at some point.
Yeah,
Just gonna, I mean,
I'm
just keep waiting.
I am hearing
Um,
behind the scenes rumors right now that are going around are that Microsoft might push Fallout a new Fallout game sooner
that
than
would also
was
be,
planned.
especially with the
And
show, like
well,
everybody's playing it again,
well,
and
that's the rumors are that Microsoft and Bethesda did not expect the reaction they got from the show. So right now, every single Fallout game, and I mean every single Fallout game, including Fallout Tactics, are at their all-time highest player count ever.
dude,
Even compared to launch. Fallout
dude,
4 is getting more players right now than it did at launch.
have you? Sorry,
Um,
I just saw something on Steam.
oh what?
There's a liminal space game that just came out. It's been in development forever,
What's it called?
called Pools. And it's a like one of those highly demanding games like Unreal Engine 5 and
Rules.
everything.
888 on sale for 881.
Yeah,
Oh.
and apparently people are saying it's fantastic.
Ooh.
That it's like an art game, like an art
I would
house game
I
like
would check that out.
experience.
Shit. I'm
I
looking at it right
love
now.
shit
That
like
looks
that.
cool.
Like it's a bit of a horror game, and yeah, it does look graphically demanding, you know, but well, it depends on the textures you use, I guess, because it says you can run it as low as on 8 gigabytes of RAM, but it's recommended for 16 gigs.
Right.
I would totally buy this game.
Yeah, that looks cool. Oh,
And well, there's the demo, but I would totally buy this and actually stream it. I would
yeah.
stream this.
We should we should
I
we
think it's
should
single player, but
we should get on streaming again on our
I want
Twitch.
to stream games like this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. We can also stream our game sessions. We've been playing
Yeah, well, that too.
Zomboid and stuff.
Yeah, we play a lot of Zomboid.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But
Sea of Thieves Tactic. But that's cool. I just want to mention that. And
yeah.
that makes but I was looking at games
Hmm.
I own and everything and games I played. And a lot of them are sequels, coincidentally.
Yeah,
Blasphemous.
I
Have you
can
ever
think
played that game?
I've not. No.
It's a fantastic little Metroidvania. I love the art style. It's definitely got Dark Souls influence. Um, but they actually just came
Ooh.
out with a sequel for that game.
Also, by the way,
But
Wasteland 3 is on sale for 7.99.
what is it?
Wasteland 3. If you
Okay,
want a good CRPG like Fallout style, that's a cool
nice.
one. Yeah. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Um,
I'm just looking at Steam right now.
so that just got a sequel. Um, Hyper Light Drifter. I just started playing that. That's a beautiful little game,
Oh,
especially on the
nice.
Steam Deck. Um, I'm surprised it doesn't have a sequel. Uh, but here's one. Bully.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We've got obviously we have a ton of GTA sequels. We finally got a Red Dead Redemption sequel, but why not a Bully sequel?
Bully was great. I mean,
Would it be too niche?
I don't maybe for like modern audiences it might be a little on the niche side, but like
Oh, there's no guns, you
it's
just
still
slingshots and
it's
you're
still Rockstar though. They would sell that. I mean, what I appreciate about Bully is like it's a way smaller scale game than other
mm-hmm.
Rockstar games.
Yeah, just in a
So
school you
they were able to put like all the way
service.
back then they were able to put a level of detail and immersion into it that we didn't see until I think Red Dead 2. So
Mhm.
imagine what they could do with that concept now.
Right.
I think that would be phenomenal. Like,
Maybe evolve it. Maybe like at a college campus or something. I don't know.
yeah,
Or would that
I
change
don't
it too
know.
much?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Maybe it needs to be that high school, like secondary school thing.
The boarding
But
school or
just give
whatever it
us a really
is.
big
Yeah.
campus, give us a big explorable neighborhood, just super detailed environment. Yeah, they could go hard.
Yeah.
Make a small map, but just put everything into it. And it could be it would be interesting to see how they take on a modern uh high school scenario. Like everyone's on their phones.
Yeah.
Like cyberbullying, that could be like a side quest. Like, I don't know. Um, well, in that game, if it's kind of got the honor system type thing too. Like, you can go to all the classes if you choose to. You can
Yeah, you can be a
do
good
stuff in the
student and a good
story,
person, or you
and
can
you
just
can
be
side
in.
against the bullies, or you can.
Yeah.
So, it has that going for it. And honestly, I would definitely play that. Um, I think it would be fair if they charge like $40 for a game like that, but
Yeah.
then again, if they really went hard on the detail and like the simulation aspect of it, like class simulation stuff, um, yeah, they could charge full price. But do people? I don't see that happening though.
Yeah.
People want root shooting games. They want
Yeah,
the
I don't
big
know.
epics. They want the big crime heist. Yeah,
I mean,
Bully's got its fans.
maybe they'd be able to get away with it being a smaller scale game because they would have to put less money and stuff into it.
That's true.
So they would maybe feel that's more worth it. I don't know though. Yeah, it's a good question if whether or not that would actually be something they could pull off.
What about Red Dead 3? What do you imagine that looking like?
I think Red Dead 3 should be completely unrelated to Red Dead 1 and 2.
Let's make it proper Old West.
I think they've exhausted the Vanderlyn gang's story. I know some people I see on Reddit want them to explore Dutch and Hosea when they were younger. I think they need to leave some stuff up to the imagination
It
and move
reminds
on
me of
to some characters.
you know what it actually reminds me of?
Hmm.
Breaking Bad series. You have the
Hmm.
original Breaking Bad, which was a masterpiece, just like the original Red Dead was a masterpiece in its own right.
Yeah.
Then you have the sequel game that some argue even surpasses that, at least character wise, story wise, things like that. Um, Especially character development wise.
Yeah.
But Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, they complete the story. You even have El Camino. You know,
Hmm.
there does not need to be a sequel that explains
Yeah.
everything that, or a prequel. I mean,
I
it
think would
it
be
just
cool
becomes
would
so
be
disconnected at that point.
a remake
So
of Red Dead Revolver.
it's a remake.
Like imagine the general story and characters of Red Dead Revolver, but reimagined as Rockstar would now. That type of thing.
Yeah,
Or yeah, or just go back to like proper Old West, like the 1870s, 1880s, that type of thing.
or 1880s even. Just whatever gives us
Yeah.
the most gun variety.
I
Um,
think that would be cool. I do think again, I know a lot of people like on Reddit, if you go on the Red Dead 2 Reddit, people talk about this a lot. Some people want like a young Dutch and Hosea. Some some people think that Red Dead 3 should be Jack Marston in World War One.
and it's not in
But I'm like,
Western.
but then it's not a Western. Yeah, don't get me wrong. That could be cool, but it's not a Western. And that's why I play Red Dead because it's a Western. I like role playing as a cowboy, a rootin' tootin' cowboy.
I
And
think the only way it
I'm
could
sorry,
work
the
in that
the tr- the
setting.
tr- the trenches of France in
Here's my pitch.
1914 are not rootin' tootin' cowboy.
Here's my pitch.
Like,
Here's my pitch.
Yeah.
If they did that, you can have some World War One stuff with trenches, and that's like particular flashback missions.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say the U.S. government, they know Jack Morrison's history, and let's say he got Medal of Honor in World War One and everything, and brought honor back to the Morrison name, all that stuff. Let's say they know his history and everything, and he was a good soldier. Hey, Jack, we need you to take down some mob bosses. Or it could even be set in the
Yeah.
West.
I mean, that
Uh,
would be cool. I mean,
you could
a
it
game
wouldn't be a
set
Western theme, I
like
mean setting,
a game.
but
I
it
don't
could
know.
have Western themes,
I don't know
just
if
like Breaking Bad
I don't know if you've
is
seen
like
that
a
movie,
Western. Logan's like
Gangsters.
a
I think it's
Western.
called
Yeah.
Gangster Squad, but it's like a movie. It's like a mobster movie set in the 20s in LA.
Mhm.
Which it's an okay movie, but like imagine Jack Marston in the West Coast in the 20s. That would be cool, but it wouldn't be a Western though.
No, and you would have to title it.
Like,
It would have to have a different
yeah.
title.
Like
It
if
would
they did
be
that, I'd be cool with that. I would love a
like, hey, this
Rockstar.
is in the same universe, but that's
Yeah.
the only
I would love if
connection.
Rockstar made a game that was like a 20s, 30s mobster game that kind of tied together the Red Dead universe and the
Well,
GTA universe.
speaking of which, they
But it's
already
not
kind of did
a
that.
root and tootin' cowboy game.
LA Noir.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is 40s?
First game you play as a cop, as a detective.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's 40s LA. I would love to see a sequel to that in like a different city, different setting, you know.
That would be cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Hell, you could even do like you could go different ways with that. It could be like set in 1920 Chicago, or it could be set in 70s LA.
Yeah.
Like do a nice guys thing,
To the
but
nice
make it a
guys.
game.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like American Hustle, or when everyone was talking about that movie, American Hustle,
That movie was okay.
it was way over hyped.
Yeah.
But imagine that, like 70s noir, you know,
Yeah.
that could be kind of cool. Or
Let's see.
even just
I'm
push
looking
it to
through
the
my games.
60s.
I'm looking through my games library. This would be a cool game they could do if id Software did a Doom game that was a retro boomer shooter type of Doom game again. That would be pretty cool.
Imagine,
Like,
okay,
don't get me wrong, I love
I,
Doom Eternal and Doom 2016. They are
and they're
phenomenal
modern
shooters, but they're
boomer
modern
shooters.
shooters. But imagine a retro boomer shooter that is
So
Doom.
basically, what I mean, not George, John Romero's doing
Well,
with like Sigil and like,
I don't mean like in the Doom and the original Doom engine. I mean like a modern engine, modern
but it's still
anemonies,
pixelated.
but
It's
like
still
kind
Doom.
of like you pick up games like Deep Rock Galactic or Warhammer Bolt Gun,
Voxels?
where it's kind or like Warhammer Bolt Gun, where it's like
Retro,
it
but with
has
modern
because like
gameplay.
yeah, well like the new
Brutal Doom.
Doom,
Just download Brutal Doom.
yeah, well like
That's what you're looking for.
Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal have the boomer shooter style in the sense of how you jump, it's jumping around and aim at the hip, that type of thing. But it's not like a retro type boomer shooter in its style. It's kind of a hybrid.
Yeah. Well,
That
yeah, just
I think that
download
would be
Brutal
cool.
Doom.
Like
Download Brutal Doom, and there you go.
yeah,
That's kind of what you're thinking of, right? It's in the original Doom styling, but it's on a new engine that allows
sort
new
of.
gameplay elements, dynamics, and like
Yeah,
enemies blowing up,
yeah. But
environmental
I
destruction.
also mean just like imagine an actual Doom sequel, like an actual new Doom game with new levels and new enemies and all that sort of
Well,
stuff.
again, that already kind of I see what you're saying, like
Yeah.
one made by id, but like there's so many fan made maps, and like some that even Bethesda throws in with the Doom master levels, like Plutonia Experiment,
Yeah.
uh TNT Evolution, Sigil. You can download Sigil.
I'm still kind of shocked that
My House. My House,
That
honestly, they should include My House with Doom.
it should be.
It's
Yeah.
so important to the like Doom, like almost Doom game lore now.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's
just
honestly,
throw
I
that
think
in
it's
there.
kind of shocking that Bethesda hasn't tried to remaster Doom 1 and 2 like properly. Um
Do tell.
well, I just mean
Like
an
graphically?
no,
Like,
what I mean is recently the Star Wars Dark Forces remaster came out and it improved controls, it improved a bunch of stuff about the games, it improved the graphics, improved a
well,
bunch
because
of
they don't have to.
well, what I mean is but I'm surprised they haven't attempted to do that.
Well,
I'm not
they don't
saying they
have to
I'm
for
not saying
PC, and also
I'm not saying they should.
just download Z
I'm
Doom.
saying no, I'm not saying they should. I'm surprised they haven't tried.
Well, okay, let's imagine that.
Yeah.
It allows free look, and it allows
Well, I mean, it would basically be just
different.
Jeezy Doom.
Yeah,
But again, I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying I'm surprised they haven't.
maybe they don't want to step on the fans' toes like that,
Yeah.
because then you're paying for something that you could get for free.
Yeah. I'm just
Um,
yeah, I'm surprised they haven't tried to do that.
Also, we saw how that went with the new Battlefront remasters.
Yeah.
Do we want that?
They released another patch the other day for those. It is now in a way better state than it was at launch.
Like with the servers and
With
everything?
yeah, with the servers, it's still not perfect, but it's if it had launched how it is now, it would have been it would have been a better launch. But it's too late. Apparently, I saw someone say on Reddit, the Steam player count for the original non-remastered Battlefront 2 is higher than the Classic Collection right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like less than 100 players a day or something like that. Classic Collection on Steam. So they're making
And
the
that's
game.
exactly what would happen with
Yeah,
Doom. It feels like.
they're making the game better, but it's too late. They can't salvage it. Like doesn't matter what they do.
A little too late.
Yeah. What else here? I'm looking through.
We did a whole entire commentary series on it.
On what?
Twilight.
Oh,
I even mentioned in that series,
you
as
want a
much as we
Twilight
like
sequel?
love to hate, as much as we love to hate it, I am shocked that Stephanie Meyer hasn't read any more, or that they haven't tried to make more movies in that universe, because those were so big for such a short time
Yeah.
frame. They were what every tween was talking about. 2009, 2012, a little after, and then it was Hunger Games, but that ended pretty quick. They churned those out too. They churned out the last couple Harry Potters.
Yeah.
But like with Twilight, I would be curious to see what that universe would look like. Would it be just more melodramatic soap opera with some fights thrown in? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I want to see Charlie's story. I want to see
Yeah.
just a
Charlie,
spin-off about
best
Charlie,
character.
Bella's dad.
Yes. The goat.
Yes. I'm gonna have to watch those commentaries.
Cheers to Charlie there. It's drinking his honor. Mm.
But it's like, what does that look like? What does the rest of that universe look like?
Yeah. Oh, here's another game.
I say that mostly in jest.
Here's another game that
would it be any good? No. But
another game that not I'm not
are you going back to
saying I
games?
think they need a sequel, but I'm surprised they haven't, is The Sims. The Sims 4 came out in 2014. And they haven't
one?
done The Sims 4, the most recent Sims game, Came out in
Mm,
2014, and they are still pumping out DLC for it. Um,
mm-hmm.
I am surprised they haven't had a Sims 5 yet. It's been a decade.
Imagine Sims 5 with
And
AI technology now.
yeah, well, it's I mean, I played the Sims games when I was a kid. I like them as much as any other gamer kind of does. I don't know. They're okay. Um, but they are
Mm-hmm.
cash cows for EA. They're the games that they can release them at full price, and then hardcore Sims players will pay $40 every 6 months for a new
Mm-hmm.
DLC for a decade. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Like
No,
that
you're
is
not. I know you're not
I'm
joking.
shocked they haven't they haven't announced a Sims 5 yet, just because of like I that's a money cow for them. Like,
Here's one.
mhm.
The Dark Knight Nolan verse
Oh yeah.
with Joseph Gordon-Levitt
Yeah, they could have done a
as Robin. Like I remember
Robin,
one of the jokes is like he leaves him the spandex and he's like, "You have everything. You have my estate. You have all my wealth,
but you
but
gotta
you
wear
have
it.
to wear this." So it's Batman just being a dick after and
I mean, they could do a
Bruce obviously
Nightwing
being
thing.
Nightwing could be interesting.
That would be cool.
So it'd be a Nightwing movie, but in the Nolan verse, which
Hmm.
would be really interesting.
I would
Like a
watch that.
gritty, realistic
Yeah.
version, but in that specific universe and like.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'd like to see Christian Bale have another crack at it.
I love
As
Christian Bale.
exhausting as that would be, and as redundant as that would be, um, he said he would come back to play Batman, but only if Christopher Nolan was directing it or involved.
Yeah.
I think if Christopher Nolan came in on as like a producer to something, he maybe might come back, but he said director.
Mm, yeah.
What would that look like?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
He's starting to get up
What
there.
would come in?
It's like he's starting to get up there in age, but he's not.
Michael
He's
Keaton came back
he.
as Batman for
Yeah,
Christ's sake.
he's not old man Bruce, like age.
Right. He's all yeah, he's getting there. But
Like he's not there yet. He's like 50 years old or
and
something like
here's
that.
another one I've seen people talking about, and that could be a possibility. A sequel to Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, Spider-Man 4.
That would be awesome.
In that universe, they
I
can
would
make
love
a
that.
little sideline to No Way Home, but keep it contained in that universe just to make another one of those.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of rumors that they are considering bringing back Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. I'd
Um,
like to see yeah, another one of those too with him.
I hope we get to see
Finish this
the
trilogy.
basement of supervillains again.
They have to. That has to be.
Yeah.
That has to be an opening scene. I
The
want to see Doc Ock or whoever grabbing
yeah.
their backpack and running amok.
Yeah.
I want to see
I
that.
don't hate those movies, but the basement of supervillains is like the silliest thing they
Yeah,
could have done at the end of that.
pretty
Yeah.
darn, pretty darn sick.
Um, what else here?
Said a lot this episode.
Yeah.
I think it's been a record.
The Watch Dogs series. I know it's not been that long since the last game, but I've heard the rumors are that Ubisoft's just basically abandoned the series.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think
Never played
any
the second one.
I think the second one's the best of the series. I think Legion is the worst, which is probably why they have apparently abandoned the series.
Well, that one
I
you don't play as one character. You play as NPCs.
Yeah, Legion had a lot of cool ideas, but just did not execute them super well, and the lack of a specific established main character really hurt it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think that whole series, none of the games are perfect. Um, but there's some cool game the gameplay ideas and some cool world building ideas, and I think it deserves another crack. Even if I think it deserves a reboot, is what it deserves. Um,
Which film?
just Watch Dogs, just the series as general. Just take another crack on it at it.
Uh,
Uh, don't do the
I don't
whole
know, man. I don't trust Ubisoft. That's why I'm laughing because it's Ubisoft,
yeah
and I they really got to redeem themselves after Skull and Bones.
yeah.
Just saying.
I don't know. Ubisoft is such a roller coaster of a company.
Yeah.
It's not
They've
like
just been mediocre.
It's not like EA. EA is consistent. They're shit, but they're consistently shit.
Oh,
Um,
Jedi Fallen Order was
that's
great.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, EA buys up companies.
True.
Yeah.
How much are they actually developing in house?
Respawn is they're the ones that did
Yeah, Respawn.
Apex and before that Titanfall.
Mm.
I've heard Titanfall 2 is really good, but I've never played it.
I think if that would have came out now, it would be like Helldivers. Like I think people would be
Yeah.
really into it if it came out at this particular moment in time. Here's one, and I think it is happening now.
Mm.
There's been hints from Robert Downey Jr. and stuff. Sherlock Holmes 3,
Oh yeah.
sequel to the Guy
Yeah.
Ritchie Sherlock Holmes films.
That would be so
You
good.
know, they have the classic Guy Ritchie editing and action, and they're funny. They're just fun action adventure romps featuring Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson.
Yeah.
And you can have a lot of fun with that IP. Um, and it does, and it turns it into an action thriller.
I love those
Um,
movies. They're just a lot of fun. Yeah.
I love it's one of my favorite scenes in cinematic history where he analyzes uh like it always shows what he's thinking, like how he's
Uh-huh.
gonna beat a
Yeah.
guy up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I throw dirt in his eyes, I blind my opponent, then I discombobulate,
Yeah. Discombobulate.
whenever
They like that
that
word in that
scene.
movie. Yeah.
I love the discombobulate scene.
Yeah.
It's
I like Game of Shadows is not
those
as
moments were good.
good as the first one, I think, but I really like the
Well, I thought
scene.
Dr.
Yeah.
Moriarty was
Well,
cool.
I was gonna say I really like the scene at the end where he does the whole
Playing
like
chess.
he thinks out his fight scene, but then
Hmm.
Moriarty interrupts his thinking with his
Yeah.
own thinking. I love that. I love it. It's stupid, but I love it.
So it's like, are they reading each other's minds, or it's like
Yeah.
they're both predicting what each
I
other
think
would
they're just
do?
both predicting what each other might do.
Yeah.
And then what he ends up doing is just throws them both off the
Yep.
cliff.
Yeah, he never predicted that.
Yeah, he's just like, fuck it, we'll just both die. Um,
Yeah. He's all petty. Yeah.
yeah,
'Cause,
which, like, hey, yeah, I guess Moriarty didn't predict that.
but he
No,
survives and whatever. It shows him an extra
yeah,
credit scene. He's wearing the like furniture morph suit, like
yeah,
camouflage. But I love that universe. I love that setting, and
yeah,
just like
it's great.
there's like some gadgets in there, and like he comes up with stuff, and like I love Jude Law as Watson.
Oh, Jude Law's
Action's
great.
great,
Yeah,
and yeah, it plays a little bit into steampunk stuff, but also things that actually
yeah,
were around
and
at that time,
it's not.
technology that was around at that
I've
time.
read, and I've read some
Um,
of the Sherlock Holmes like books.
like the mortars and gas grenades, like
And
World War I
obviously it's
technology.
not like obviously it's not accurate to the Sherlock Holmes books, obviously.
No,
But
but the
it's not
setting's
but
fun.
it's
It's
not like
just
offensively
well, you can tell Guy Ritchie. You
like
can tell they still care. They
yeah,
still like and care about the character.
yeah.
It's just their spin on it. Their
That's a
action,
good way to put it. Yeah, it's like
Mission Possible.
you can tell there's still like they still love the character and the source material. They're just
Hmm.
doing their own
They're
thing.
treating it with respect.
Yeah.
They're just having fun with it. Just like Liza P. They even there's a message at the beginning of the game that it's dedicated to the Pinocchio writer. What was his name?
Italian guy, right?
Yeah, Italian
I know it's
fellow.
an Italian story. I don't.
Rollo Collodi.
Yeah. Nice.
Um,
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
they give a dedication to him, and yeah, obviously Liza P isn't lore accurate, but
To Pinocchio. Yeah.
but yeah, Sherlock Holmes. It'd be cool to see a third one. See, you know, at this point, it probably might be set in the early 1900s,
Mm.
pre-World War One. Who
Have you
knows?
watched the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio? It came
It's
out.
fantastic.
Yeah, so good.
Mhm.
Absolutely
The stop motion
phenomenal.
is
Phenomenal like
phenomenal.
piece of art, that movie.
Hmm.
I love it. I don't know what else there is to talk about here. I mean, I could
Oh, I
go
have
on
one.
oh
I
yeah,
have one.
yeah. Yeah.
The Northman. Have you ever seen that movie?
I have not yet. No.
Robert Eggert, The Northman.
Yeah.
Um, it's similar to his other films, how he uses natural lighting and like the costumes and sets are very, they're pretty damn historically accurate, at least with the setting.
Yeah.
Um, it's similar style, but it's also just a Viking epic.
Nice. I do need to watch that.
It's
I like Robert
great.
Eggers. Um
It might
Lighthouse
be my
Lighthouse
fate.
is
I
one
don't
of my
know.
favorite films. Like I want to check it out. I just
Yeah,
haven't gotten around to it. I
I kind of want to watch it
admittedly
again.
I admittedly don't watch a lot of movies and TV these days outside of going to the theater. Just because of my work schedule, I've just been playing video games instead.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
it's either play games or watch movies,
yeah,
or go do something with your life.
yeah. So
But
these days,
those are the
new
options.
movies I watch is when I go to the theater. Yeah.
Right. Um,
Anyway, I think
I think we're at a good stopping point.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, check out the Instagram. Check out at All Drunk Pod, right? Is that it?
On TikTok, yeah.
Yeah,
We actually got some good reception on our
and
latest one.
TikTok. Yeah, check out the TikTok.
TikTok, man, and they're trying to ban it. Like, damn, we're actually getting some attention there.
Yeah, so we're just gonna make
Um,
the most of it for now until they ban it.
yeah,
Although
we'll make the most of it.
realistically, because of the whole, I know the company TikTok that owns TikTok is going to be taking
The
legal
U.S.
action.
government wants them to sell.
So
Well, I heard they're just gonna, they're not gonna sell it, but they're just gonna drop it off U.S. servers. There's gonna be no more TikTok.
what
Um,
I heard that they're
it's not
going to
gonna
take
sell.
they are going to take legal action though, which means it's going to
Yeah.
go to the Supreme Court, which means realistically it's going to be a couple years until we actually see anything on the user's end.
Also,
So, um,
I could, something that kind of case could be one of those revolutionary cases in the Supreme
could be.
Court.
Yeah.
And that could change how social media is managed within the United States and just
Yeah.
the internet, and that could do a lot
I
of
don't know how
bad things.
I don't know exactly
That's
how
all
I
I'm gonna
feel about
say.
it, but I generally think
Banning,
it's probably bad.
it's a bad idea, and it sets a
Yeah.
horrible precedent, and that involves the U.S. government controlling information.
Yeah. That is I think it is a free speech
They're not. I don't think
issue.
they're fucking worried about the Chinese government getting information for us. They already have information for us. We owe them trillions,
Oh
and
yeah.
Facebook and the metaverse gets away with it,
They're
harboring people's
no,
private
they're
information.
worried about young
They want,
people spreading information among themselves.
yeah,
That's what they're worried about. Yeah.
that's what, yeah, because
Um,
people learn a lot there. As
yeah.
much as there's a lot of stupid shit there, but people learn a lot, and there's a lot of conspiracies, and there's people talking about UFOs, and like there's all kinds of stuff on TikTok that is just spreading like wildfire. Shit spreads like wildfire there,
Yeah.
and the government, they can't control it, so they want control of it. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
This podcast took a huge left turn, but you're absolutely correct, and something like that could be, um, monumental.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway.
yeah, follow us to TikTok.
Yep, follow us on
sorry,
TikTok.
I'm poli-sci major. I have to go on a
Yeah.
rant every once in a while.
All right.
Yeah,
Till next.
we're done here.
Till next time.
Till next.
This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. The Odd Drunk Podcast recommends you follow their Instagram and join their Facebook group for more fun content. To visit all of our current streaming and social media platforms, visit the link tree in the description. If you enjoy the show, we would be appreciated it if you would leave a review on Apple Podcasts. The Odd Drunk Podcast would like to remind you to drink responsibly and not to drink and drive.